Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Inside the Birds post-game show. Geoff Mosher, Adam Caplan, and InsideTheBirds.com's Andrew DiCecco. We are here, of course, to wrap up another Eagles win and go inside all the details of a win that over the Chiefs that did not look like the one from 7 months earlier in the Super Bowl. Not as much poetry and motion, but it is a win nonetheless. The Eagles win 20-17. They go to 2-0. Amazingly, the Chiefs go to 0-2. Let's get our impressions, Adam. You know, the Eagles are 2-0. I'm sure for them inside the building, that's the thing that matters the most. 2 good wins. How did you see this victory in your eyes?
This is tough. This is the Chiefs home opener. The Chiefs had some problems coming to the game. One of the reasons why I picked the Eagles is I know enough about their passing game. It's really been 2 years that the Chiefs passing game has been very disappointing. Then you remove Rashee Rice as their top possession receiver. And then with Worthy, who they really were ready to have a breakout season with his dislocated shoulder, though he got some work in late last week, technically. It was going to be a problem, and it was. Now, yes, the Eagles had some coverage busts. That was interesting. But there are lots of positives, guys, and we'll get into them in a minute. But I would say overall, this is a survive and advance game. Some things have to be cleaned up, the passing game. But overall, there's a lot to be happy about because when you hold the Chiefs to just 10 points, we could talk about some of the things that went on, why they only scored 10 points, which we'll get into.
Hey, 17. 17. Give them their credit for the
17,
fourth quarter touchdown.
17, right. They got to score late. 20-17. The Eagles found a way to win. It's not easy to win on the road. And they got that win there. A very impressive win.
Andrew.
Well, it was a grimy win, as I like to say, and it's not easy to win on the road. But I thought the Eagles, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, did a nice job settling in really after the break. And the offense was able to hold up their end and play enough complementary football to cash in when they had their opportunities. But I thought it was one of those wins that, you know, obviously wasn't pretty. There's a lot that needs to get cleaned up. I already mentioned the passing game. But I thought that Vic Fangio's bunch in that second half really stepped up and answered the bell.
Yeah, you know, I feel like this is the kind of win that 3 years ago I might have said the Eagles won, but ... because it came with its warts and its flaws. But I don't do that as much anymore because the Eagles have kind of trademarked winning this way. I mean, the Chiefs were doing that last year too. They went 15-1 and seemingly won every game, second half, fourth quarter, bounce of the football. You know, the Eagles are becoming a very, very defensive-minded football team, and I know the fans love defense in the city of Philly, and they're able to compensate at times when their pass offense just isn't there. And this is not the first time we've seen it. It happened probably countless times last year. And then we get those games out of the blue, whether it's the Super Bowl, the Steelers game, whatever it is, where the pass offense just looks like it's poetry in motion. So to me, this is what you get with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to look ugly at times, but the defense is coming through, and it is another win. And it just goes to show, I think you guys can agree on this, no matter how the Eagles look sporadically offensively or even sometimes defensively at times, but they are a very tough team to beat. Like, you really have to play your best football to beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
Can't disagree with that. Yeah. Can't disagree. Yeah. It's what a situation with the Eagles is they kind of know who they are. They play a specific style. Now, I would also tell you as we get into this, eventually this passing game is going to take off. It has to. There's just way too much talent. And by the way, I want to get started on offense. Well, let's start on offense. Mm-hmm. The pass protection was incredible. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. It was phenomenal. What happened with the pass game overall is, we can't tell off TV, so I'm not going to guess. But the good thing is that after they struggled, their offensive line did not play well week one, particularly in pass protection. Yes, they had some run blocks they missed, but the pass pro, this game against the Chiefs, in a hostile environment, sometimes you can't hear because you have to go with the silent count sometimes. But overall, that's one of the many things I thought were very positive from this game.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was expecting to hear Landon Dickinson's name a little bit, Landon Dickerson's name in a negative, like giving up a pressure, and I know he had a false start, but in general, I thought he and Cam played well. Now, I know some people are going to be like, what are you talking about? There were times Jalen Hurts was under duress or he was running. Folks, there were times that Steve Spagnuolo spent sending 6 or 7 guys. That's not on the offensive line. There were times that Jalen Hurts dropped back to throw, and even if he didn't complete the pass, or just had nowhere to go, he had like 3, 4, 5 seconds to play. So I thought that was really impressive. Andrew, what did you think overall of the offensive design and concept and the attack plan?
Hey, you know that one guy in the group chat who hit a 5-leg parlay week 1 and he wouldn't shut up about it for the rest of the season? Sounds like Caplan, right? Yeah, it could be him. It could be you, and we would all want to be you. My bookie makes it stupid easy to get in on the action, whether it's college ball, NFL, super contest, and survivor pools, all the spreads, player props, and in-game lines that you could want all under one roof. What more could you want than that? If you're new to my bookie, use our code, the birds, THEBIRDS, the birds. Use the code, and any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. Make your play, and if it doesn't hit, you get it right back when you opt in using your bet back bonus token. There is no better time to jump in right now. No better place to play. Football is back. Let's make some money with my bookie.
Well, it was curious from a passing game standpoint. The routes were very compressed. There was a lot of short passes and dump offs. That first one to John Mechie sort of set the tone there. And when you keep hearing the word evolve, and I know it's only been 2 games, but you expect to see a little bit more of an expansive attack, pushing the ball down the field, using the middle of the field, different little wrinkles that usually accompany the word of in that passing game, because it's looked like it has last season. But to your point on the offensive line, guys, I thought Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson played Lane Johnson as well played a really good game. And on that Saquon Barkley 13-yard run, Tyler Steen had a really good block on Chamari Jones, and Cam Jurgens got to the second level to block up Drew Tranquill that kind of sprung him untouched.
Yeah. You did not hear the name Chris Jones a whole lot as far as wrecking shop or who's the edge rusher from Purdue that they have whose name is Karlaftis. Yeah, you just didn't hear them like you ordinarily do. I agree with you. Offensive line played well. I think, Adam, this week, to Andrew's point, you're going to hear a lot of questions to the coaches about the evolution or the new iteration of the offense that just has not presented itself yet. It just hasn't. There's no evidence to suggest that this offense is any different on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis than it was last year. And like you hit it on the head, there's going to be a game where they come out throwing the ball all over the field and everybody's going to feel great, but it's not something that we've seen as sustainable, and they're going to get questioned about that this week. I am sure of it.
A friend of mine, Kyle, said, it was texting me. He goes, "I have a feeling the Rams game, the Eagles passing game is going to take off because maybe if Stafford, Stafford's played pretty well so far. We'll talk about him later in the week, but maybe sometimes get that passing tempo game where both quarterbacks going back and forth. You never know about that, but I would say the first half of the first game against Dallas, there were some really good things from Tulo, but since then, again, we won't know for sure until you and I talk to Greg Cosell Monday night about what the tape looked like, because the pass protection was sublime. And the good thing is Hurts didn't bail from the pocket, but was he not pulling the trigger? Were guys getting open? Typically, as coaches will tell you, 75% of the time guys are getting open, but the quarterback doesn't like what he saw, whatever the case may be. But typically what you see on TV is not reflective of really what reality is, and we're going to find out. We'll get the truth from Greg, as he always tells us the truth. But I would say this: they know they have to be better. The tape will tell them that, and we'll just see what happens over time. But offensively, by the way, Barkley looked good. He really did. He hit the hole pretty well. The offensive line did a better job. Still not quite where they need to be. Run blocking. Oh, and by the way, just looking at my notes here. So Latu got in a little bit. He came in the second series, and I didn't see him for a while. Then I saw him come back. But Granson was the F tight end. If you watch closely, because Granson cannot line up in line. How could Terra line up in line? I don't know why. I don't know why they wouldn't use Latu in line more than they did. But that's something that they're going to have to figure out. Because last year, by the way, just charting it, pretty much the backup wide tight ends for most of the season were Stoll before they cut him, then Uzama. That was it. So they always had someone, when Goddard was out, they had someone who could play in line. Because they don't have that guy unless they're willing to use Latu more like that.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm surprised they didn't use him very much. He had a nice block in the red zone on their touchdown, but outside of that, you saw the deficiencies there with Grant Calcaterra on the very first play. I believe it was Leo Chenal who got off the edge and forced the fumble on Jalen Hurts, and that's not. I mean, that's not Grant Calcaterra's game. We've talked about that for a number of years now. But I was surprised that they put Kylan Granson out there as much as they did and not put Latu, because Latu is a really physical player. I think in the limited sample size that revealed it.
Yeah, I think the answer to that, and again, that's something that will be revealed in the week, maybe the coaches will talk about it, is that it's tough to take a player like Latu who's never played an NFL game before, and now you're asking him to sort of play a different kind of position. I know tight end and fullback has some similarities in where you line up and block, but again, something he's never done before, as opposed to Granson, who's a 3-year NFL veteran. I think this is year four-year NFL veteran.
Yeah, he actually would be
right. My point is, he may not be great, but he has played that role, that position, has been doing it for the Eagles since the start of camp. However, and this was the chance for Latu to get his feet wet. However, I thought Latu threw a really good block on the Saquon Barkley 4-yard run that was reviewed. You know, they thought maybe it was a touchdown. Yep. It stopped short. They get the touchdown on the Hurts scamper. But I think, if anything, he's probably earned himself some more opportunities as the weeks go on to take on that role, or if Goddard continues to get hurt, because we all know, I mean, they just don't have really good blocking tight ends when Goddard's not in. But I just don't think they were ready to commit to like that role for Latu this time against that opponent on the road. You know, they got to get his feet wet.
I don't know that. I mean, if he's out there, you play him as in line. But you got
to like limit his responsibility. Remember, you're not trying to also tell the defense what you're doing. And when he's out there, every time, I believe, was a run. So, I mean, you're not going to pass the ball too much with lots.
No, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting him in line, because Cranston cannot play in line. He just cannot. He's just never has and never will. It's just he's going to get blown up. So,
but if he's in line, don't you think the Chiefs are like, oh, they're running the ball because they're not going to pass?
But that doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you're going to throw it or run it. You could have two guys lining up in line and roll the quarterback out, run a sprint option. No, that I hear you. But that doesn't mean you have to run it. So
it doesn't mean you have to, but you give yourself one less better option in the passing game, is my point.
Well, by the way, first down, how many times do they run the football on first down? Every first down?
Pretty much every time.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. The whole passing game plan. Now, again, we don't know what the tape looked like yet, but in terms of philosophy, my God, could you talk about tells?
Yeah.
Oh, it seemed like, Andrew, didn't it seem like they run it every time on first down?
Every time. I mean, we knew it sitting there. Here comes a run.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we were able to sniff it out. Yeah.
Sports are all about competition. Every snap, every possession, every clutch moment matters. That same energy is what 1v1 Me brings to video games. Every single day, you can watch and stake on matchups in Madden, NBA 2K, FC, and Call of Duty Search and Destroy. All the games are streamed live. Every match has refs, and payouts are instant. And these aren't just random online lobbies. These are the best players in the scene, pros, streamers, and rivals. With season playoffs and the championship game on the line, every game matters. Over $100 million has already been paid out on the app, and the community is growing fast. If you're a sports fan, a gamer, or just someone who loves having a little extra on the line, 1v1 Me is where you need to be. It's not just about winning, it's about the bragging rights too. Every match has a chat going crazy, and you can back your picks in real time. Download today and use code BIRDS. Your first stake on the app is risk-free. That's code BIRDS for a risk-free first stake. Yeah.
Anyway.
So on that note, I thought I'd give credit to Spagnuolo, because he was not afraid to throw the house at times at Jalen Hurts. And, you know, for a guy who got burned by it in the Super Bowl, he came back and did his thing. And he actually did a good job. I mean, usually when you blitz Jalen Hurts like that, you give up the one-on-one opportunities that Hurts loves down the sideline. And there were really no sideline. There was one to earlier in the game that he missed. I think it was Devontae, and he didn't get it until the fourth quarter, right? He finally got the one to Devontae. Yeah, but if you're Spagnuolo, you know you're going to give up one of those, but you'll trade that for getting Hurts on the run and throwing high and throwing wide. And at the end of the day, he said, look, I give up 20 points to the Eagles. They have all these offensive weapons. We did our job, but their offense, the Chiefs' offense, did not do its job. So I credit Spagnuolo, but also a nice job by the Eagles offense on a bad day to finally get that play that they really love against those pressures, which is that jump ball that you saw to Devontae. It was a great catch by Devontae. Reminded me of the one he made against Washington a couple of years ago, where he goes up and gets it. He's kind of made that his thing. And that was really a back-breaking pass play. And I'm sure Spags was thinking, I knew it was going to happen. I just was hoping my offense would have gotten me a 2-touchdown lead at some point before that, or even a lead at some point in the game.
And by the way, Spags and his defense always surrendered 15 yards on the ground to Jalen Hurts after Jalen Hurts carved up Dallas with his leg. So,
so those blitzes, right? They were blitzing the A gaps, which makes it hard to run up the middle. And I noticed their rushers would rush wide. So you contained him and then took away the inside running lanes. I swear, we've seen teams do this before. And we always say, man, I wonder if that's a blueprint. Like the Niners did that a couple of years ago in the NFC Championship game. But the Eagles always figure out a way then to kind of counteract or they take advantage of a team that just can't do the way Spags does it.
Yeah, I think so.
If you want to move on, I do want to talk about special teams. Braidman.
We'll get to. I was going to save that for the end because they were really important.
We could actually take care of that real quickly. We could just do that now before we get to defense. Sure. I got a lot to say on defense. It's really good, but Braidman is. I mean, I know it's only 2 games, but we talked about how great he was in training camp. I mean, his last punt was 40, but by the way, just overall, he's off to a phenomenal start. He's been
outstanding.
Yeah, and Elliott, wow. And it was a little windy. It was 12 miles an hour, a little breezy, and Elliott looks phenomenal. So, yeah, their specialists have been great so far in terms of kicking and punting.
Yeah, I noted that. The operation with Braidman Holding and Charlie Hewlett, the new long snapper, that operation has been pretty crisp.
Real quick, Braidman apparently is a phenomenal punt holder, I heard. That's like run. It's in addition to everything else he's done for the Eagles, he's a phenomenal holder, and it really shows. Elliott is back. I mean, he looks incredible.
He looks very good. And by the way, the biggest special teams play we can't ignore. Nice job by A.J. Brown scooping up that onside kick.
Hands team.
Yeah, yes. I guess technically it never went the distance it needed to, but it was a nice job by A.J. Brown. Yeah. All right, good stuff. So that is special. Yeah. Listen, that shouldn't be understated. Jake Elliott has made 3 field goals, all of 58, 58, and 51. I mean, and on the road, you make 2 of them. That's really tough. I mean, he's really back. And if the Eagles are going to be a kind of grind it out and gut it out kind of team so far, then that's really, really big.
They're going to need him. I mean, look, he's obviously kicking with a ton of confidence right now, and rightfully so. He's had a good summer, and he's carrying that over into the regular season so far.
Oh, and one more thing. John Mechie was the kickoff returner. I mean, I know they have to have 2 guys back, but Mechie returned all 3 of the kicks.
He lived.
And it was A.J. Dillon, which we all pretty much expected, that got the reserve, was the immediate reserve behind Saquon. Tank Bigsby just got to Philadelphia. So I didn't really expect him to be much of a factor offensively.
Bigsby played on specials. I did see that.
Yeah, he played on specials.
Right. All right, let us switch gears. We'll talk about this Eagles defense against the Chiefs. Now, for everything I said about Steve Spagnuolo not being afraid to try to do what the same blueprint, go after Hurts, try to shut down the run, Vic Fangio enters the chat and says, nope, hold my beer. I'm going to do something different. I'm actually going to blitz more than I did in the Super Bowl, which we know was a big goose egg in the Super Bowl. And I thought to myself, as I'm watching, guys, I'm like, that's really smart. I mean, the Chiefs probably never thought in their wildest dreams that Vic Fangio was going to come at them. And Vic probably felt that the Chiefs felt that way, and he came at him. Now, it's not like he was throwing cover zeros left and right, but he was pressuring. He was sending guys, and it clearly made Mahomes rattled. I mean, Mahomes got some runs out of it, but he also threw a lot of high rush passes. There was the one on the sideline of Marquise Brown. There was one over the head of, I think, Thornton, one to Kelsey that was a little behind. Yeah, I mean, those matter, and those all happened because he was hurried.
There's a player that I highlighted because he continues to impress me with his physicality and his ability to set the edge, and that's Nolan Smith. He plays with a lot of violence. He had a really nice stop on that 4th and 1 on that first 3rd down to start the game. He did a nice job to hurry Mahomes, and it was the incompletion to Brashard Smith, the running back in the flat. I really like the way that Nolan plays. He uses his hands well, and he plays with controlled violence.
I like that. Controlled violence. Yeah. That is something, Adam, we talked about last year. The first half of the year you didn't see, and then he really started to learn speed to power and just playing within himself,
Yep.
putting out offensive guards who are trying to pull. He's really becoming a good player there.
They had at least 7 blitzes in the first half, which was interesting. There's a saying, if you can't get home with 4, you bring 5. You can't come home with 5, you bring 6. Or you start blitzing guys off the A gap, that they knew it, that they had to do something. Their pass rush was non-existent for the most part last week. And Ojoma had a couple nice rushes. He had his first NFL sack. But the big story was Darius Smith in early. He showed up. Like we'd said earlier this week, we thought he'd play unless he's not in shape. He played a lot and seemed to play well. They hit Mahomes at least 10 times. They hit him. They got to him. Yes, they had the backbreaking runs. But you notice, guys, in the first half, yes, they got upfield too many times. They cleaned that up. That was a good adjustment by Fangio and his coaches. They shut down Mahomes in the big runs of the second half. That was really big.
Yeah, you know what? I was starting to get like Josh Sweat vibes out of Zadarius Smith, because not only was he rushing the passer, he was playing the run pretty well, setting the edge. It looked like his athleticism and his length and his size, he has good size, was giving the offensive line trouble for the Chiefs. And he can wind up being a sneaky good pick. I mean, it shouldn't be a sneaky good pickup. He's been a really good player in the league, but you throw him into a rotation now with an improving Nolan Smith, right? And Jalix Hunt, who's going to keep getting better and learning how to play the position. And you got yourself a nice little 3-man rotation there. And I thought it showed up. I thought it made a difference. And again, I think Vic Fangio was willing to make a trade-off, just like Steve was, right? With the deep ball, as long as he's getting a lot of pressure, he was willing to give up some scrambles to Mahomes for the upside of also pressuring Mahomes into making a lot of throws that were off target. And there was one drive late in the third quarter, it was third down. He sent Campbell on a blitz up the A gap. It was a 5-man rush. Campbell got in Mahomes' face and he threw the ball. I forget who he was throwing to, but it wasn't complete because it was hurried. It wasn't the one where he overthrew Thornton. It was like right either before or after that. I think it was actually before, on the drive before. And those little things, that knowing when to send that 5th guy, was something that we saw from Vic that we didn't have to see in the Super Bowl or other times. So it was really good strategy there.
Yeah, and real quick on Zadarius Smith, you could tell talking to him last week that he was itching to get back out and play in a regular season game. And he definitely adds some juice to the pass rush, and you could see his size really come into play. I thought he brought some really good energy to that group, and he'll be the 3rd edge rusher. And the Eagles also worked Josh Uche in, and he had a couple nice plays, limiting Isaiah Pacheco for a 2-yard run early in the game, and then he had another one where he got into the backfield.
Yeah. Noah Gray, by the way, was the guy I was saying who he threw wide of because Campbell was blitzing into his face. So this is a defensive Eagles team now, I guess. And Andrew, have we talked about Andrew Makuba? Obviously,
that was obviously a huge play. I'm sure the Chiefs are thinking, okay, that was some bad luck, but hey, you know what? You make your own luck. That was an unbelievable return. He's a guy that had a number of big plays in college.
Mm-hmm.
That was obviously the game changer, and they were able to go up by 10. But overall, the good thing is they kind of rebounded after last week. Let's not forget the Cowboys had at least 4 drops. One would have been a touchdown, and they played much better this week. The matchups were much better for them because of the guys who were missing for the Chiefs, and they really shut them down. I know they had a couple coverage busts in the fourth quarter, which they'll clean up. But there are a lot of good stories. And Dory Jackson, by the way, played much better in this game.
Much better.
He did.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Granted, there's no CeeDee Lamb out there, but he did play much better. You got to give him at least credit.
True.
All you can do is play against who you're lining up against. And I thought he did a nice job.
That is true. Very, very, very true. Back to Makuba, Andrew. You were on him from the start. It just seems like he's such a natural fit for what Vic wants to do. And then on top of that, he just is always in the right place in the right time. We saw that against the Browns in the preseason. And think about it. His momentum, he is going toward the play, right? It's a pass to Kelsey. He's the post safety. He's coming too. But at the time, as the ball is bouncing off of Kelsey's hands, Kelsey is cutting in, and Makuba is going to him going the opposite direction. So to maintain the concentration, to see the ball into his hands as Kelsey's coming in front of him and he's going the other way, and then to take off, is an example of the playmaking that he showed at Texas, right? And just that ability to be there when you need him to be. Hey, fall is planting season. Did you know that many plants and trees actually do better when planted this time of the year? But you got to know where to start. And that's why I love fastgrowingtrees.com. Doesn't matter if you live in the sunny South or if the air's getting a little chilly where you are, the plant experts can help you find the perfect fit for your space. They've got everything your yard needs: fruit trees, privacy trees, shrubs, flowering trees, so much more. And Fast Growing Trees makes it so easy for you to have your dream yard because you can order online and get your plants delivered directly to your door. If you're like me, you're tired of spending way too much money on landscaping. And if you walk into one of those nurseries and you look at all the stuff they have, you have no idea where to begin. That's why you need fastgrowingtrees.com. Doesn't matter about the size of your yard. They got over 6,000 plants to fit any space, and a 14-point quality checklist ensures you will get the best quality plants possible. This fall, they have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show get 15% off their first purchase when using the code BIRDS at checkout. 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code BIRDS at checkout. Now's the perfect time to plant. Use BIRDS to save today. The offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. Check out the link below or in the show notes and support the show.
Yeah, he was my third-rated safety coming out of the draft. You've seen plenty of my mock drafts. I had him as a late 2 because of the ball skills, because of the high-level football intelligence, and just the versatility and what he brings to that back end, allowing it to be multiple. And when you see someone like Vic Fangio go to him week 1, obviously he was a second-round pick, but he didn't play a lot of snaps in the summer. That shows you the kind of confidence that they have in him. And he did mention he played okay in the opener and referenced a couple, he called it major bust that didn't hurt the Eagles that could have hurt them more. But I thought in this game, aside from the play that Mahomes had against him in the running game on third down, he definitely stepped up in a big way, and that's what he can do, take the football away, and that's why he's back there.
Yeah, and he's going to make mistakes. He is a rookie. Adam, you saw he also had a penalty, a defensive hold. They said on the broad, or they said it on the write-up or the whoever does the stats that it was Quinyon Mitchell, but it was Makuba that had the defensive hold that negated the sack between Davis and I think Carter on third down. Then you also saw him sort of get, I don't know if it's trampled, but Travis Kelce sort of showboating with one hand as he's draped around him. So he had a couple of plays. He got trucked bad by Mahomes at the end of a 15-yard run. So when you see him able to kind of respond and come up with the biggest play of the game, you say that's great. Rookie's going to have rookie moments, and then he's going to come through and make some real plays. So the question is, does he get fined in kangaroo court, though, for getting chased down by a guy who weighs more than 100 pounds?
Yeah.
Josh Simmons, brother, is a pretty good athlete for a left tackle. And remember, he's coming off the torn patella tendon. But look, overall, the defense, in this game in particular, comparatively to the Cowboys game, really rebounded well. They played disciplined. The Sedarius Smith addition, we'll see what the snap count looks like. I'm surprised that he played as much as he did, at least appeared to have played. Considering he had not practiced prior to this week since January. It's amazing. But here's the thing: we know they're telling you he was in great shape. They wouldn't have played him like they did. That's the thing.
The last time he played in the game, Adam, was January 18th against the Lions, or with the Lions when in the playoffs against the Commanders.
Think about that.
He was ready to go.
You're think about it. You're talking about over 9 months. We're about 9 months. That's incredible. He had not even been with the team this spring. That's really, he's a true pro. That is big time to do that. Really nice signing. They beat the Lions. I know the Lions for a fact had interest in bringing him back. I don't know if they were going to do anything, but they had interest all offseason if they cut him. He was making way too much money. But this is a really quality signing for a team that's got to find a pass rush, and they really did. Sacks are great. They're cherries on top, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But it's the quarterback pressures, which talking to coaches over the years is a little bit more important to them. And they hit Mahomes a lot. That was the great thing. They collapsed that pocket a lot.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Philly fans, game day is stressful enough. Parking, traffic, long lines. We've all been there. But when it comes to your cannabis, Camden Apothecary makes it easy. This is the dispensary for sports fans, just minutes outside of Philly with plenty of free parking. You'll be in and out fast, no hassle, no waiting, and they don't just care about convenience. Camden Apothecary is all about the guest experience. Their staff makes sure you feel taken care of every time you walk in. Plus, they carry only the best quality cannabis at the fairest prices. So whether you're stocking up for the tailgate, the watch party, or celebrating a big win, you know you're getting the good stuff without overpaying. They even show love to the community with specials for fans, students, service members, and healthcare pros. Camden Apothecary, top quality cannabis, great prices, and an experience made for Philly fans 21 and up. Yes, they absolutely did. And you know what? They're going to need it next week too, because you got the 2-0 Rams coming to town. The schedule really is not any lighter as we, proceed throughout the week. So let's finish it up on this. Adam, you give me one thing that you really like and one thing that you're concerned about headed into week 3.
Oh, a lot to like. The good thing is, and I knew it would happen, because I think what happens is when you see an offensive line that you know is elite, they shock us for the first time in I don't know how many years. They don't play well week 1. It wasn't just 1 or 2 plays. It was enough that you start to scratch your head a little bit. They rebound. They rebounded nicely. The passing game, I'm not as pessimistic as some people are. I've seen what's in social media. I'm aware. And I'm not absolving Hurts from this. The tape's going to tell us when we talk to Greg, when we record inside the tape.
Mm-hmm.
But he's had a number of play callers. He's got another one. It's just, you got to get through the process. You just can't snap your fingers. This is not good. We know that. The passing game was pathetic for the most part on Sunday. It's got to be better. It's going to be better. Not everything's been great. They won. By the way, they won. When your quarterback throws for 101 yards and you win, and quite frankly, in the second half, it was kind of like, it looks like the Eagles have a lot of momentum. The Chiefs scored late to make it 20-17.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do that, when your quarterback only throws for 101 yards and you still win, you got to feel good about it, because you know it's going to be better. It's just eventually going to be better. It has to.
There you go. And one concern.
Well, no, that was my concern. The passing.
Oh, right. Quarterback. Okay, gotcha. Andrew, one thing you're encouraged by, one thing you're concerned with.
Encouraged by the development of the first and second round picks, Jihad Campbell and Drew Makuba. They're going to be mainstays on that defense, and I think that they are right on schedule, at least appearing. That's the way that it appears, and they're going to be somebody that they're going to have to lean on. So to this early on to be able to make plays like they have, I think is a testament to the coaching and to their ability to pick up the plays.
Good stuff. One thing I want to say that fans should be proud of, for those of you who are in your 40s or 50s, when is the last time you saw a linebacker play like this?
Oh.
I'm saying linebacker, right? Vic calls them ILBs.
Yeah.
Andrew is in your mid-30s. Andrew, your lifetime. Have you ever seen
late 30s?
Okay, late 30s. Have you ever seen anything like this at linebacker for this football team?
I have not, and it's certainly not hyperbole, Adam, to say this is the most dynamic second-level tandem that the Eagles have had in, I don't know, maybe ever. It's really impressive with Zach Bond and Jihad Campbell ideally complementing each other with their skill sets. And then I guess the one area of concern would be, like Adam alluded to, the passing game. And I do believe it's going to get corrected. It's going to take a little bit of time. They're not just going to be able to roll things right out. Kevin Patullo's going to, it's the second game calling plays. The plays are going to come. The plays are going to come. But today, obviously it wasn't good enough, and it left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, I was encouraged, as you mentioned before, with the bounce back by the offensive line. I thought they relayed really well in a tough place to play well, where it's loud. They obviously had to rely on the silent count for the first time this year with the right guard, Tyler Steen, having to be a big part of that on the look back. So they did a really good job there. The only thing I'm a little, I don't want to say discouraged, but we just have not seen, it's only 2 weeks, really haven't seen the signature Saquon Barkley breakout game or breakout run. He used to own the second half. So he really hasn't had that yet. And I don't know if that's teams really trying to take him out or if it's just lanes aren't there. But, he has made some tough yards on his own, but he still hasn't had the big backbreaking one yet. I thought that was going to come in the second half against the Chiefs. It did not. We'll see if it comes against the Rams or down the road. That's going to do it for this episode of the Inside the Birds post-game show. For Andrew DiCecco, Adam Caplan, I'm Geoff Mosher. Thanks for watching. Catch you all on the next one.